All right, everyone, in this video, we will be talking about solving multi-step equations. And what I like to do when I am solving multi-step equations is I like to think about things in an ordered list. So what I would do is I would think about this ordered checklist and I would follow this order for whichever steps apply to the problem you are trying to solve. Let's look at an example. Okay, so here's an example of an equation. As always, I'm going to split this at the equal sign. And now I'm going to look at my checklist. So I don't see any parentheses in this problem, which tells me that there is no distributive property. So I'm going to cross that out. The next thing I want to look for is whether I can combine like terms. And I see that I can. So I'm going to use my color coding strategy for combining like terms. If you are not sure how to do that, I would recommend going back to the combining like terms video and watching that. When we combine like terms, we like to split our terms up, and then we like to color them in. So I'm going to use pink for the terms with the x's. And then I'll use another color, maybe green, to circle my number with no variable. And I'm only doing this on one side of the equal sign. I'm leaving the other side alone. So now I will have two boxes because I have two different colors here, two different kinds of terms. And I have 1.1x and 1.2x in the pink box and negative 5.4 in the green box. If I combine these terms, I will get 2.3x and minus 5.4. And all of that is supposed to equal negative 10. So I'm done combining my like terms now. Now I need to decide whether I should undo with addition or subtraction. I see that there is subtraction in this problem, so that is a sign to me that I need to undo with addition. So I'm going to add 5.4 to both sides. And if I've done this correctly, I should end up with opposites in this box, which I do, so that will cancel out. And that will leave me with 2.3x on this side. And I get negative 4.6 on the other side. So now I am done with my addition or subtraction step. And now I have to decide whether I'm going to undo with multiplication or division. I can see that there is multiplication happening right here in between 2.3 and x. So that tells me I need to undo with division. So I will divide both sides by 2.3. And remember, we want to make sure the center of all of our work is our equal sign. If we have done this correctly, we should end up with the same number on the top and on the bottom of the division bar, which will cancel out to 1, leaving us with 1x. We can write that as x. Negative 4.6 divided by 2.3 is negative 2. And this is our solution. So from here, we will want to check our work. All right, in order to check our work, we want to use x equals negative 2 in place of anywhere we see an x in our equation. So that will be 1.1 times negative 2 plus 1.2 times negative 2 minus 5.4 equals negative 10. Okay, so I'm going to take care of all my multiplication first. Here we have multiplication. We also have multiplication here. So this will be negative 2.2 plus negative 2.4 minus 5.4. Okay, I'm going to take this one step at a time. So here we have negative 2.2 plus negative 2.4, and that will give me negative 4.6 minus 5.4 equals negative 10. And I forgot that because we're checking, we're going to put this question mark symbol on top. And what we're looking for is to see whether we get the same number on both sides. Okay, negative 4.6 minus 5.4, I get negative 10 and negative 10. This shows me that I get the same number on both sides. So my answer is correct. Here is another example. So again, I see a lot of stuff going on. This tells me I might need to follow my checklist for solving multi-step equations. So I'm going to start at the top. Does this have distributive property? I see that there is distributive property, and one of the ways that we can tell is if there are parentheses. So I see parentheses here. That tells me that I'm going to distribute. I need to distribute the 6 to both of the terms that are inside the parentheses. So I like to expand this out so I keep track of everything that I'm doing. This is going to be 6 times 5 plus 6 times negative 8v, and then I just bring this down. Plus 12 equals negative 54. And just to keep myself in line, I'm going to split this at the equal sign. It's a little off, but that's okay. So now I'm going to go through and I'm just going to clean this up a little bit. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times negative 8v is negative 48v plus 12 equals negative 54. And the 12 came from here. So now, So now I'm done with my distributive property step. I'm going to check that off my list, and I'm going to move on to combining like terms. And again, if you are not sure how to do this step, go back to the combining like terms video. We split our terms up in front of the subtraction and addition signs, and that helps us to identify what the terms are. We're going to color code them. So I have this 30 here, and any terms that would go with this 30, would be any regular numbers that have no variables. So I see one right here. Okay, there are no other just regular numbers or constants on that side of the equal sign, so I'm going to move on to a different color. And this term right here has the variable v. There is no other term that has a variable v, so I am done with that. I need to have one box for that blue and one box for this purple. And I'm just going to group my like terms. So 30 goes in here, negative 48v goes in here, and plus 12 goes in here. Now I just need to combine. So in the blue box, my total is 48v. In my purple box, I get 42. And this is my simplified equation. Okay, so now I'm done combining like terms. Check that off. Now I need to decide whether I'm going to undo with addition or subtraction. And I see that we have addition in this problem. So that kind of tells me that I need to undo with subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 42 on both sides. And again, I really like to draw this box here so that I can make sure that I did this correctly. These will cancel out. And that leaves me with negative 48v equals negative 96. Okay, so now I am done with that undo step. I can move on to my last step of undoing with either multiplication or division. So I have to decide which one of those fits the problem. And I see that there is multiplication happening in between negative 48 and v. That tells me I'm going to undo this with division. So I'm going to divide by negative 48 on both sides. And that gives me, these cancel out to 1. I get v by itself. And on the other side, I get positive 2. So v looks like it is 2. And I'm going to check that. So we're going to check to see whether x equals 2 is the solution to our original problem. Oh, I guess our variable is v here. Plus 12 equals negative 54. Okay, so wherever I see a v in my problem, I'm going to replace it with 2. So this ends up being 6 times the quantity 5 minus 8 times 2 plus 12 equals negative 54. Now we're going to do some order of operations. So inside the parentheses, we have this multiplication that gives me 5 minus 16 plus 12 equals negative 54. 5 minus 16 is negative 11 plus 12 equals negative 54. 6 times negative 11 is negative 66 plus 12 equals negative 54. And if I do negative 66 plus 12, I will get negative 54 on both sides. And I keep forgetting this little question mark symbol. That tells us that we are checking our answer. And I can see that both sides of this are the same. So we get a check mark. Our answer is v equals 2.